Have you ever noticed how some job seekers seem stuck, uh, mired in failure, while others keep moving forward and succeed in spite of long odds? I want to talk to you about two different types of frustrated job seekers I see and how you can identify yourself with one side or the other. Recently, I got on a post on LinkedIn by my friend Michael Dillon. Now, Michael is a British guy. I don't know if we should hold that against him. I'm just kidding. Love my British friends. Michael has written a few different books. He's a very helpful guy. He's not a guy that is out there trying to make a pile of money. And we won't name any names, but there's definitely people out there kind of on the make all the time, always trying to make a buck. Michael has written a couple of books that are really good for data analysts, stuff about getting jobs and writing resumes and things like that. He's not, yeah, he's not out there making a big pile of money. He tends to sell his books for like, whatever you want to pay. They're very informal. He cranks them out pretty quick, and they really are kind of chock full of good information. Full disclosure, I was actually part of one of his books. I didn't make any money off of it, but I submitted some content for, I think, his first book. But super helpful guy. He's out there, he's coaching, he's teaching people. He's a guy that provides value on a daily basis on several different platforms, most notably LinkedIn, but he's got some other ones. Let's put a pin in that one. That idea of creating consistent value. Michael is out there legitimately helping people day in, day out for free if you don't feel like buying anything from him, or if you can't afford to buy books or anything like that. He's doing plenty of coaching and training and leading for free. Okay. Now, the interesting part of Michael's post was not so much the post itself. The post was awesome. The interesting part of it was in the comments. In the comments, I noticed people interacting, and there was some fascinating dynamics, and that's kind of what I want to talk about today. Watching, first of all, me engaging in the comments, which I wasn't super proud of what I put on there, but we'll talk about that. But watching people interact, not only with me, which I kind of quickly bailed on some, kind of a not so positive interaction I was having there, but interacting with each other and some of the some of the dynamics I saw there, some of the thoughts that I saw going on, a little alarming, and they're just things that I've observed before, and it sort of coalesced some ideas in my head. And the first one is this: there are two kinds of frustrated job seekers out there. There are the unemployed, and then there are the professionally unemployed. Let me tell you what I mean by this. Unemployed is a temporary situation. If you are unemployed, you've got a positive mental attitude. You know that it's an obstacle. It's not it's not a permanent situation for you. You don't have a job right now, and you're working on changing that. Unemployed people tend to have a growth mentality. They tend to be very open-minded, and they're still applying a good strategy, generally some good principles. They're networking. They're willing to change, and they're willing to address a shortfall. So an unemployed person submits 100 resumes and gets no response. They reassess. They look at it. They say, "Hey, this ain't working. Let's do something different." They're generally open to coaching. They're generally receptive to content that tells them, "Hey, maybe you're not on the right track," and they're willing to look at it and say, "Let's change the strategy here." Now, oftentimes unemployed people can kind of delve into this negative territory. And that's where they kind of come to become to join this other group. And that's the group that, I have various different pet names for them, but I'll call them the professionally unemployed at this part. Now, the professionally unemployed kind of have failure as part of their DNA. It's part of their brand at this point. Unemployed is who they are. So they've either been unemployed for so long, or they have such a rigid and inflexible mindset that they almost can't see their way to anything else. And there's some characteristics that I see from professionally unemployed people. Professionally unemployed people are convinced that it's not their fault. And we'll come back to that as well. They're convinced that they're doing everything right. They're not receptive to advice. They're not receptive to suggestions that they should change anything fundamental. So when somebody looks at their resume, for instance, and says, hey, this isn't terribly effective, that it's met with massive resistance. When somebody looks at their LinkedIn profile and says, you could probably make some headway by revising your LinkedIn profile. LinkedIn profiles don't work. If someone says, hey, it doesn't look like you have a very robust network, you could probably make some better connections and avail yourself of the hidden job market and get some connections there. I tried networking, it doesn't work. Their answer to everything is based on some anecdotal experience. And their answer to anyone telling them that they should change anything is, it's not me, it's something else. It's not my fault. And so they push back on everything. Anybody that suggests that they should change something is met with scorn and derision. And they have these little mantras. The professionally unemployed love to all kind of repeat the same phrases. There's one that I hear very often. I tried that before and it didn't work. So they draw on some fragmentary or anecdotal experience, and they make it an absolute. In other words, I tried to network for a solid month and it didn't go anywhere, so I gave up. And most of the time you can see that it's just confirmation bias. They go into something, they get recommended to do something, and they go into it and they say, I don't think this is going to work, but I'll give it a whirl. And after a very short period of time, they bail on it. So they look at networking with scorn and derision. Oh, that's just nepotism. That's just, kind of, it's not what you know, it's who you know. That's BS. And so somebody tells them they should build their network, and so they throw out a bunch of LinkedIn connections for a month and don't get back anything satisfying. No, nobody's offering them a job in the first DM. And so they bail on it and they say that networking doesn't work. Well, nothing works if you only do it for a month. And so they go out there, they seek confirmation bias, they get their biases confirmed, and then it's permanently filed in the that didn't work file. I paid a resume expert to fix my resume and still didn't get any interviews. Therefore, resume experts are idiots. That didn't work. So it doesn't work ever. They're convinced that basically anybody that is a career coach, that is a professional, that gets any kind of compensation for helping people with resumes, with LinkedIn, with networking, with connections, anything like that. Any kind of career coach is a shyster and a charlatan. They're just out there grubbing for money. They're bilking people. They don't work, right? I tried that and it didn't work. I hear that all the time. People like, I paid for a resume and it didn't work. Okay, well, I mean, I can't fix everybody. Um, and it's ironic too, because these are the people that would benefit most from a good career coach or a good resume or a good anything that had them change their strategy, but they're just diametrically opposed to it. Can't get there from here. The absolute kryptonite to a professionally unemployed person is anyone that has had success in the job field or anyone that approaches it positively. So what do? They troll about LinkedIn platform of choice, Facebook, I guess. And they just live to crush people that either suggest, hey, there's a good way to approach your resume that can be can bear fruit. They feel the need to jump on there and comment, say that doesn't work. I tried it. Okay. Anybody that's out there taking an optimistic approach to their job search, they hop on and they've got to punish them, right? Wrong think. You're going about it the wrong way. Why? Because the existence of that person and the validity of that content is an existential threat to their mindset. It is living proof that they're wrong and they can't handle it. They are so convinced that they are right. It's a tough job market. Nobody's getting jobs out there. Networking doesn't work. LinkedIn doesn't work. Blah, 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 blah. They're so convinced of their horrible view on the whole job market that they will go to great lengths to shout down anybody that has a different opinion. Whether that person's a connection, whether that person's helping people, it doesn't matter. Okay. So there's the unemployed, and those are my people. The unemployed are people that take a positive outlook towards their job search. They're going to get a job. It's only a matter of time and tactics and strategy. And they're willing to make the changes to their strategy and tactics in order to get there. Those are the people that I want to work with. We'll talk about going forward and mindset here at the end. But you've got the unemployed, which is temporary, and the professionally unemployed, which it seems like it's a permanent state for them. It's a mindset. They're defeated. And they're going to be vocal about that defeat as long as they can. Now, the professionally unemployed people, these people that are out there just being negative, just committed to that negativity, they've got a lot of currency in the market. What's that currency? Well, they're not buying stuff, at least not anymore, to listen to them say it. What's the currency? It's attention. That is the crude oil of social media, right? Every influence peddler, every content creator, yours truly included, is competing for a limited set of eyeballs and clicks and thumbs ups and likes and reactions and all of that is currency. So think about it, you're sitting at a poker table and you've got chips, right? Well, the ones might be views or impressions. The $5 chip might be a like. The $10 chip might be a comment. Depending on the platform, it differs. But it's currency. It in a very real sense. You may not be monetized on these platforms right now, and it may never be your goal, but nobody's sitting there creating content with the intent to not resonate with anyone. Even if your only intent is to help people and never to make money off of anything, you're competing for eyeballs and attention and confirmation that something you're saying is resonating. So there's a big market out there of a lot of very disaffected, fearful, angry and disenfranchised people in the job market and on the professional spaces of social media. And like anything else, if there is a market out there and there are consumers, there will be producers that serve that market. What do those consumers want? Validation, confirmation, because once again, they are committed to their mindset that the job market is broken. I am screwed. The deck is stacked against me. The rules are keeping me from getting a job. And and they refuse to be talked off of that. So their currency, the thing that they crave more than anything, is confirmation of that mindset. I need someone to tell me it's not my fault. They need the goodwill hunting, right? It's not your fault. It's not your fault. It's not your fault. That's what they need. Like air to breathe, they need it. Confirmation of their negative mindset. And so what do we get? We get content creators stepping up into that gap and filling that need. What fills that need? If you'll pardon the off-color expression, and I'm sure I'm going to take a beating on every platform for this content because of this. But I call it failure porn. And it's, I don't say porn but it's, kind of a general term to apply to anything that's sort of it's like a drug. It's an opiate for people. It's the thing that they crave. Failure porn. It's telling everybody that's got a failure mindset that their mindset is fine. It confirms their paranoia. The deck is stacked against you. It is a terrible job market. Oh my gosh, nobody's getting jobs out there. Ah. So what does failure porn look like? You see it every day, especially if you're active on LinkedIn. It looks like anything that validates those fears. Now, whether that's you see people out there with these long diatribes about how terrible the job market is, or diatribes about their former employer that did them wrong, or all of the isms in the market, whether it's racism or sexism or what have you, discrimination that's out there, people railing about employers wanting employees to return to work here years after COVID, um, people railing about employers not offering remote work to any and all of their employees. Anything that you want to gripe about, but it's establishing that, hey, frustrated job seeker, it's not your fault. The deck is stacked against you. You've got a raw deal. It's not as good as it was a year ago, 5 years ago, 10 years ago, whatever halcyon days of job market awesomeness that you hearken back to. And so that's the currency. It's a sop. It's a, it's okay. It's not your fault. You didn't do anything wrong. So it ranges from these long kind of verbose diatribes all the way down to just kind of these snarky, sarcastic posts that you see from, honestly, you see it from good people. It's not, and that's part of the problem. It's not just, there are entirely negative content creators out there. There are definitely people that trade only in failure content, that trade only in playing on people's fears and paranoia and suspicions and, and failure mentality. And I won't name any names, but you see them. If you're out there consuming content, you see them and you know who they are. But even the good content creators, even the people that are helpful and constructive, most of the time, you can get kind of sucked into that vortex of suck, that kind of failure and sort of loser mentality when your content's not hitting real hard, or you wake up on Monday morning and you're like, man, I don't really plan any content for this week. What's some low-hanging fruit I can knock out here? And so that's when you see otherwise good and thoughtful and helpful content creators putting out a post like these ones where it's just that kind of cheap joke about, yeah, sure, you can get a entry-level data job. You just need 13 years of experience. Mock, 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 mock. It it's cheap. It's not true, for one. There are entry-level data analysts getting work out there every day. There are job listings out there every day for data analysts that don't require extensive experience. There's a pretty stiff competition for them, especially if they're remote, because everybody wants that stuff. But people are getting hired every day to do those jobs. People graduate college every day and go get data analytics jobs. It happens. Happens all the time. There is not this mass of thousands upon thousands of data professionals sitting there saying, woe is me, I can't find a job. Most people are employed in data analytics. And so, yeah, amid all of the torrent of layoffs here, and everybody from Google just got fired, and my company's no exception, but most of the people still have a job, and people are getting hired every day. People get laid off and they get a job a month later. It happens. And it can happen to you if you get your mind right and you take a positive mental attitude towards it. Now, What does that mean for me and what does that mean for you? Going forward, my focus kind of twofold. Number one, I went negative, if we can borrow a political expression. I went negative too many times in 2024. I know that. I didn't always have a strategic kind of long-term approach to content creation. There were definitely weeks and months where I had initiatives and I had, kind of video content and different things going on, and I was doing well. I didn't have a great year response and engagement wise, but it wasn't bad. However, there were definitely quite a few times where I woke up Monday morning and said, didn't, weekend went sideways or I had to travel or something and I don't have any content ready. And I woke up Monday morning and I just, I cracked a joke or said something sarcastic or whatever. Or I just went into comments on somebody else's stuff and just, dropped a little joke or a little snarky comment or something like that. And it was a little more negative than I wanted it to. I deleted some of them because a lot of times you'll put something out there and you realize right away it's not what you want. So I did delete some of them, but a lot of them I let it ride. And looking back as an overall trend, that's something that I want to stop. So not here's what I'm going to say. Me as a kind of low level thought leader, content creator, whatever the heck I am. Me as a person who posts stuff on social media that some people seem to watch and like, I am going to resist the urge to go negative. I am not going to feed into that vortex of suck, and I'm not going to produce failure porn. I'm not going to feed on people's fears. I won't I won't go for the low-hanging fruit with the little sarcastic jokes. It's just not a business that I want to be in, okay? If other content creators want to follow suit and kind of I'm not going to start a pledge or anything, but just if that's something you want to do, I'm down with it. There are great examples. I mean, I'm like I said, I'm low level, 33, 30, almost 34,000 followers on LinkedIn, which really, in the grand scheme of things, is not that big. Look at a guy like Dustin Shimmick. Love Dustin Shimmick. He is one of the most relentlessly positive people I know. Him and Brandy Beals both up there in Milwaukee in the data game, putting out content on all channels, relentlessly positive. I I can't recall a single time when I've seen Dustin stoop to the kind of failure content, like pat you on the head, it's fine, it's not your fault. Dustin is one of the people out there leading the charge, and he's one listing every Friday. He lists jobs that he sees, and a lot of them they're entry level. They're not saying, hey, you need X years of experience. Zero years of experience. Go put in for those jobs. All right, follow Justin or Dustin. I ain't editing nothing out of this video, so it's going out warts and all, right? Justin Shimmick, if you're out there, heed my words. Anyway, Justin probably won't watch this whole video. Um, if you do, Dustin, let me know. I'm very sorry for screwing up your name. However, um, don't follow my lead. Follow Dustin's lead. Follow Brandy Beals' lead. Trying to think of who else I see that is just only positive. Follow Matt Bratton's lead. I don't see Matt Bratton making sarcastic jokes, and he and I have talked about not doing that. It's just not who we want to be. So yeah, just take in more positive content. So I, as a content creator of mid-range popularity and fame, um, I will pledge in 2025, I'm going with positive content. If you, as content consumers, anybody watching this, anybody kind of on my level, in the tens of thousands of followers kind of level, I, I invite you to join in with that. I feel like the world needs more of this. Content consumers only like just unfollow or mute or whatever. You don't have to block people out of your life, but if people are going for that kind of corny, sarcastic, sort of playing to people's fears and suspicions, just push back on that content. You don't have to correct people. You don't have to yell at anybody, but just say, hey, I'm not going to take that in anymore. That's not That's not playing to the good part of me. All right. So that's my kind of content creation, content consumption challenge. I've already unfollowed quite a few things. Hey, look, I'm right here repping the Buckeyes. We took it on the chin yesterday. Well, wait, I mean, we shot ourselves in the foot 50 times, but we lost to our arch rivals yesterday. It is devastating. I'm out here. I'm still proud of my team. I'm still a Buckeye fan. I'm not going to root for anybody else. Um, yeah, it was a little unproductive for the last 24 hours because I was just kind of wallowing in my sorrows. But we get back on the horse. So by golly, job seekers out there, if you're frustrated, trust me, I don't know if you're more frustrated with your job search than I am with my stupid football team right now. But if I can get out here and make content and rock these colors today, after the most devastating loss in, I don't even want to think about it, probably like 10 years, then you can stay positive and you can stay on that job search train. Okay. So keep it positive. I'll keep it positive as a creator. You keep it positive as a consumer. Keep it positive in the comments. Don't crap on me. I know my hair's terrible. I know my teeth are crooked and busted and not the whitest in the world. It's all good. Um anyway, so let's there's my first challenge. On the content level, I'm going to keep it positive. You keep it positive with what you consume, and together we'll kind of defeat this failure market that's out there. My other thing that I want to do is, I said this earlier, my people are the unemployed. If you are unemployed and it is a temporary situation and you know it, if you are unemployed and you are still pushing that rock of Sisyphus up the hill, you know that unlike Sisyphus, that's probably a bad metaphor. You know that this situation you're in is temporary. You know that success is on your horizon. It's only a matter of time and tactics. You are my people, and I want to get you the tactics required to get over that hump and get that job. I've done that for a lot of people in 2024, and I'm going to do my best before the end of the year here to try and tally up some stats, but they're impressive. The number of people that come back to me after resume revamp, after just a review and a handful of pointers, after just seeing my content online and saying, hey, I took your tips from your YouTube video and I got a job 2 weeks later, is mind blowing. And I'm going to kind of coagulate all of those, probably not the right word, but I'm going to put a lot of those together and try and figure out what my success rate is. But it's pretty awesome. I'm good, and I'm not that expensive either. Um, and certainly, I'm going to keep putting out free content. That is my goal in 2025. Sure. Do I want to make more money? Absolutely. But the number one goal is I want to help more people. I don't make much money. I really made very little in 2024. I don't anticipate getting rich in 25. I'm going to do my best. But nothing that I'm doing is going to have some staggering profit margin. I'm selling resumes. That's me selling my time to fix your resume. Nobody's getting rich off of that. I'm going to sell a book here. I'm probably going to sell it for about 20 bucks. Ain't nobody getting rich off of a $20 book on writing data resumes. That's just not, it's not a thing. So the money that I make gets turned back around into my business, and it gets turned back around into other ways that I can better help my community. And that is the data community, that is the veteran transition community. I got a lot of communities, and I want to help them all to the best of my ability. But Jonathan Moxon is only one man. And so the way that I can force multiply my own efforts is doing one-to-many content, whether that's social media content, whether that's a book, whatever it is. But me selling my time is not going to be the way that I manage to help more people. It's going to be, uh, people consuming more of my content. So we've got initiatives going forward, but the focus going forward is going to be providing value. and providing value on every level. So number one, the free value. You can follow me on LinkedIn, and I'm never going to stop making content that's out there for free. You can follow me on LinkedIn. You can follow me on YouTube. You can follow me on TikTok now, all over the dang place. And the value is going to keep being there. I'm going to continue to put out content for the free onlookers on those, kind of open social media platforms. I am also going to provide value at various price levels. The book is coming out, that's going to be $20 or in that neighborhood. If you're in the neighborhood to spend $20 on fixing your career, awesome. The book's going to be there for you. And I don't anticipate it's going to be one book either. It's going to be a few. There are going to be video courses that will be a little more than $20. If you're in that market, my time is going to be valued at what I value it at. If you go and look at my resume revamp right now, it's $200. That price is going to go up, especially once the book is out there, and my time becomes a little more valuable. But right now, $200 for a one-on-one resume rewrite that has the effectiveness rate that I have is dirt cheap. And I've had many, many experts tell me that I am woefully underpriced, and I know it is. I just haven't gotten around to bumping it up. But whatever it is, I could double that price and it'd still be a bargain. And I can say that in all honesty. So my goal is to provide value and to help the people in my community. Whether that makes me a boatload of money or not is not really the primary goal. It will eventually because I have a success mindset and I'm growing and I'm overcoming obstacles and we're making more money along the way. It's just a thing that happens when you work hard and you apply yourself. But yeah, anyway, so now I've totally overtalked this dang thing. And I'm gonna wrap up this video before it becomes too long to process and pull a transcript from. However, in summation, dog's barking at somebody. In summation, if you are unemployed, view that as a temporary situation. Have a success mentality. Be flexible. Be willing to change and adapt your process. Don't slip into that failure mentality where you are consuming negative content and you become convinced that the world is against you and you can't succeed. Because that's the kind of sarlacc pit where you never get out. So that's number one. Be unemployed until you're employed. But don't get into being professionally unemployed because that's a mindset thing and that's where you never get out. Number two, if you're creating content, create positive content that helps people. Don't go for these corny, sarcastic jokes just to pull a number. It's not worth it. You're not helping people. If you're a consumer of content, don't reinforce that content. Don't click like on that corny joke you've seen a million times. You are feeding into the pit of despair. If I can pull a Princess Bride reference there. Okay, don't feed the vortex of suck. It's not. It doesn't end well. So there's that. Let's get positive for 2025. And then my pledge. I'm going to find my people in 2025. I did that a lot better in 2024, and I'm going to do it so much better in 2025. I am going to find my people, and they are positive people. I am a positive person. I'm going to find positive people in 2025, and that is who I'm going to focus on. So my customer archetype is the unemployed, the people that see their current situation as a temporary one. They have an obstacle to overcome and they are overcoming it, and I am going to help people do that. So if you're down with that, follow, like this content, reinforce positive content, like this content, subscribe to my channel because I'm going to be positive this year, even more than I was in 24. Follow me on all of these social media platforms, LinkedIn, TikTok, Meta, Instagram, whatever. And let's approach 2025 with a more positive mindset towards this job search. And let's all get the jobs that we need and want and deserve. Okay. So if you're down with that, you're down with me, and you're down with the direction that Bellamy Consulting and Major Data and hopefully the Ohio State Buckeyes are going in this upcoming year. Folks, with that, Semper Fidelis, and I'll talk to you.